Today on The Grid, we're talking about where we've been shooting. Our special guest is a living legend of wedding photography who's not shooting weddings anymore. It's Senator David Ziser. Plus, we've got Erik, the real rocket man, can of ham. He's into jam. He loves email spam. Kuna. We've got some semi-decent giveaways, and it all starts in just 60 seconds. Grid is brought to you by Tamron. Check out their 28 to 75 millimeter f2.8 lens. It's for Sony full-frame mirrorless. It's awesome. Go to tamron-usa.com. And ProPhoto, the light shaping company. Check out the ProPhoto B1X. Power in all the right places. Go to prophoto.com/US. And Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com. Hey, everybody, welcome to a live episode of The Grid. My name's Scott Kelby. We have a very, very special guest with us today. But first, a non-special guest, a co-host, if you will. He's a can of ham. He loves email spam.
Yeah.
He's the real rocket man. It's Erik Kuna. Mr. Kuna?
Hey, Scott. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Came here early to the set.
We did. We got here so early that Jason actually said you're actually here on time. That was kind of mean.
Yeah.
But with us today, joining us all the way from somewhere in Kentucky, though he's never, ever actually in Kentucky, a world traveler. This guy lives a life.
Shenanigans on that.
This guy lives a life of travel and luxury only others can only dream of. He's a freelance senator, so not elected.
Non-elected,
non-voting senator, but we are very happy to hear literally a legend in the wedding photography business, Kelby 1 instructor, Photoshop World instructor, one of the best guys on the planet, Mr. David Ziser. Welcome, David.
Scott, happy to be here. Erik, good to see you again. So looking forward to this today.
This is his first time on the new set. He's been on the old set, and so this is, so he hasn't been on in like 2 years, I guess is what we're saying.
And in that time,
or more,
you haven't been shooting weddings that much, right?
I shot a wedding 2 weeks ago.
But it was like a cousin or something.
My wife's nephew's wedding. So.
When was the last time since then?
2 years before that.
Wow. And here's a guy that, you literally, so many people in America and around the world learned
book about
wedding photography. You wrote the best book on wedding photography ever, by the way.
Well, thank you.
And so many people learned wedding photography from you, and now you've stepped away.
I'm going to tell you, I hadn't photographed a wedding in about 2 years, and I had LaDon's, my wife's nephew's wedding a couple weeks ago, and I'll tell you, just put that camera to my eyeball, and I was right back in the saddle.
Were you?
Yeah.
Well, that's what a lifetime behind the lens does,
but
right?
You know what? Now, I used to say that after a wedding, it feels like a Mack truck runs over you. Then a couple of years ago, it was like 2 Mack trucks ran over you. 2 weeks ago, it felt like 3 or 4 Mack trucks ran over. By the time
the trucks keep piling up.
They keep piling up, and they're on me, too. But anyway, it was a good shoot. we had some good stuff.
Well, we're very glad to hear you here today. And what's interesting is you're teaching at Photoshop World.
Yes.
And you've taught at Photoshop World many, many times. But this is the first time you're not teaching wedding photography.
That's true.
Right? So now you're shooting safaris, you're shooting travel.
Yeah, landscapes.
Landscapes, yeah.
Actually, I did a landscape program for Photoshop World. It's been about 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yeah,
and,
that was the first one, right? I remember that.
Yes, and it was a standing room only crowd, as a matter of fact.
So, well, I imagine it will be that.
That's why I'm switching from weddings to landscapes.
I imagine it will be that.
So.
You know what's weird is it's next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not too late to join us if you're wanting to go, because it's next week. It starts on Wednesday, August 21st.
Yeah, you know what's weird? A lot of people will sign up this week. Like a lot of people, it didn't used to be that way, but now, like the week before, like everybody goes, oh, it's Vegas, I'll go.
Yep.
And so if you want to join us, it's not too late. There's David's picture right there.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be at the Mirage.
It even says wedding photographer. I like that.
Yeah.
Your title. You notice everybody else has 2 lines, and you've got wedding photographer. And it's not even right.
Yeah.
Now you're just love machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Freelance senator, unelected freelance senator.
But yeah, it's at the Mirage in Las Vegas.
The Mirage. It's not really there, though. So if you go there and it looks all hazy and you reach it, it's not really there. That's why it's called the Mirage.
It's very secret.
Very secret. It's going to be a blast, though.
It will.
Go to PhotoshopWorld.com and see for yourself. There's all kinds of cool stuff there.
All the cool kids are there.
Oh, all the cool kids are there.
So Joe McNally's.
Oh, yeah. So Joe McNally's got a special nighttime event. It's just Joe being awesome, and it's an after-hours thing. So we're very excited and honored to have Joe there.
Absolutely.
I don't have to work at night, do I?
No, you're off that night.
Keeping it for Joe. He's a younger guy anyway.
Yeah, he's very, very young, and he's amazing. He's just.
Oh yeah.
I tell you, Joe could talk about any subject and make it interesting. He could say tonight's topic is milk, and everybody's like, "Ooh, Joe on milk." It's just he's
Kinda
that guy.
he is.
He is. He's amazing. Great photographer, but a great storyteller. But you know what? That's a good photographer. A good photographer tells stories, and it's
Absolutely.
very rare to
Yeah.
find a good photographer. Like you're a great storyteller, David. Your stories are amazing. David's stories are usually like, so we were in this incredible luxury hotel in the desert, and then a fleet of camels picked us up, and then we flew out on a helicopter to an iceberg where we were met with hot chocolate, and it's like, David's stories are not like the rest of ours. I don't know why. Is that your shot,
Yeah. That
Oh, that is my shot.
dude?
yeah.
That's
my shot.
Oh, I know where that is. That's New Schwanstein.
It is.
That's on the way up to New Schwanstein. That's
Yep.
where I stopped right there and said, I'm not going up any higher. And there's New Schwanstein. We're not pronouncing it right. Everybody that's
Yeah.
actually German is cringing
So,
right now.
Anyways, it's that castle in Germany.
That's in Rome. Let's just go through David's shots and pick where they are. That's in Rome. That's in Rome. Rome.
That's when I did my Kelby photo walk in Rome.
Did you?
Yeah.
And
It's a
that
photo walk
is
that's coming up.
Sweden?
Norway.
Norway.
Ausland.
I never got to Ausland. And that must be Florence.
It is.
Florence, Italy. My least favorite city in all of Italy.
Because the David statue's there?
Because the
That's why
David
it's
Ziser
nice.
statue.
There's a wedding shot.
That's a wedding shot. How did that sneak in there?
yeah.
I don't
What's
know.
up
How
with
did
that?
that get in there? No,
I
I'd
don't
like-
know. And that is, of course, Tampa. Where
Times Square.
Okay, I knew that.
Times Square.
Yeah, I thought it
I
was
knew
Miami.
that. I thought it was Miami. And that is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Like the way you say it fast and I'll say it slow, like I was saying the same thing. And that's that's
And that's
nice.
Jim and Susie's wedding.
It's Jim and Susie. Anyway, we're glad you're here, David. So now that we're seeing some wedding photos, let's see. Let's now
Cut those off.
we do have some other stuff coming up. We got some giveaways and stuff. We'll talk about those in a few minutes. And I think we're also giving away David's camera, which looks like is this yours, David? Here
It is, yeah.
Yeah, we'll give away that. It's not.
okay.
It's not worth anything. Are you using a mouse?
I am.
You're using a Windows machine with a mouse. I can't
Somebody
believe
had
I
to.
cannot.
How'd you get on here?
Somebody
How
had
did
to.
you?
How did you get on
get on this show? Isn't there a screening process?
Wow.
Christina, do we not screen the guests or
Windows
not?
computer with a
Juan,
mouse.
anybody? No. Okay. All right. Before we go on, I just want to mention that I'm wearing a coat from the vault. So that is actually the name of the back of my closet. That's where I go, where I'm like, I'm sick of wearing the same stuff. What's way back here? And that's twice this week. Coats from the vault.
And speaking of coats from the vault, if you want to see Scott in a coat live, you can go to kelby1live.com, and he's teaching a seminar in
Boston.
He's got Seattle, you got Atlanta,
I didn't
you've
know I
got
was doing these.
San Francisco,
I refuse.
you got Richmond,
Nope.
you got Arlington,
No.
you got Nashville,
Nope.
and you got Philly
Yeah.
and Boston.
Hey, like in 2 weeks though, I'm
Like,
in Boston.
Look at that.
Like,
Boston, Philly. So if you're all over, you got Boston, Philly, Nashville.
hey,
Arlington,
I've got
Richmond.
hundreds of photographers signed up for next week. No, it's not week after.
Yep.
Hundreds in Boston and Philly. So come on out and
So if you're anywhere near those places, you got to make it out.
it's called the Ultimate Photography Crash Course.
Yeah, and
So-
people are loving it. It's one of those things where all the reviews have been like excellent about it. So people are loving.
I'm having
the
so
day.
much fun.
Yeah.
Hey, and it's money back guaranteed. If it's not the best photography seminar you've ever been to at any price period, we refund your money. And you know how many refunds we've given? Zero. None. Nobody's asked for a refund. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it's awesome. Okay, back to our story. David Ziser. So tell us first how you stopped shooting weddings. Like, what was the thing where you said, I am freaking
It
done?
was a process. No, you know what? I never, ever stopped shooting weddings. I mean, if somebody wanted to call me up, wanted me to photograph a wedding for them, I would probably do it. I might be moving just a bit more slowly, but probably not either. I still enjoy photographing weddings, enjoy getting out there. I enjoyed a couple weeks ago when we were out there. But, things were kind of slowing down, and LaDonna and I started picking up our travels more and more about 5 or 6 years ago. And now we're traveling extensively around the world. As a matter
I
of
would
fact.
say extensively is the is the
That's
key
an
word.
understatement.
Hey, can I tell just a brief story about? So one day when I was trying to learn wedding photography, David invited me to come and go shoot a real wedding with him, and it was a high end wedding. I think it was in Cincinnati.
It was a rabbi's daughter's wedding.
Yeah, and
my,
it was
rabbi buddy.
beautiful wedding, beautiful. Everything was. I mean, it was just an absolutely beautiful thing. But I don't ever remember working harder in my life. I wasn't the guy shooting the wedding. It was his wedding, and I was with one of his second shooters. And it's late at night, like it's way after everything officials happened, and I just leaned on something. And one of David's second shooters said, "Dude, don't sit down. Don't sit down. If David sees you, you'll be in tons of trouble." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Get up, get up." And I stood back up like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "Dude, you don't sit down at a wedding. You don't." And I'm like, I was just leaning. No, you were not leaning.
Nor eat at a wedding.
Don't eat. Yeah,
No, don't
eat.
eat. 10 hours, you got to go.
10 hours, you got to go. No eating. No, and he would no pot, no heroin, nothing the whole time we were there.
No fun.
But I mean, I learned an amazing amount. It was an incredible day to be able to spend a day with a pro at his level, shooting a wedding at that level. But my God,
we even have a class on Kelby 1 like that where we just
Yeah.
followed you around at a wedding.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And you remember when your cover was blown, though? We get to the reception, and then one of the groomsmen comes over, and he says, "Isn't that Photoshop guy?" So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just want to, as we're digging into David's stuff, Erik has just done a rocket shoot. I just came back from the Faroe Islands.
Yeah, we've been all over.
Dublin. No, not Dublin. Where was I? Belfast and Iceland briefly for 5 minutes. And so we're going to look at some of those, but we're going to kick things off with our special guest. David, show us what you've been shooting.
Well, I'm not going to show you what I've just recently shot, but we just got back from South America. We were at Galapagos Islands for a bit. We were down at Machu Picchu, climbed Machu Picchu. My phone told me that we climbed the Empire State Building 4 times in 24 hours. I'll tell you.
That's a lot of walking.
That's a lot of walking. That's a lot of climbing.
I hate climbing, too. Hate it.
But typically,
I'm a flatliner.
Literally what we've been doing, I tell you, it really got exciting. Last year, I got asked to actually lead a photo safari in Africa. And we folded the thing up so quickly, he said, "You want to do it again?" So we ended up doing it. So we spent almost 5 weeks in South Africa last year.
Wow.
And totally enjoyed it. Did 45,000 photographs. Now, I didn't do that. I did 30,000. Ladon did 15,000 on a little Canon SX70, or SX60 at the time. So anyway, it was a great time. And we went with a good friend of mine, Kevin Dooley. Well, wake-up call is about 4:30 in the morning. You're grabbing something for breakfast. You're in the Jeep before the sun rises, and you are out. Take a break at 11, come back, take another 2-hour break, and then it was from 6 in the morning till about 9 at night every day for 3 weeks. But
the safari was 3 weeks?
Well, I did 2 of them back.
Oh, okay. So a week and a half and a week and a half.
Exactly.
That's still a lot of work, man.
But you know what? It's a lot of work, but it
It's
was
like
fun.
shooting a wedding.
It's like shooting a wedding with wild
But
animals.
let me tell you, one of the coolest things, one thing about these safaris
Yeah, exactly. Like
that
shooting a wedding.
Idoobie sets up, Kevin's company, they hit what they call a sundowner. Now, a sundowner is when, after your whole day, after you've been up bright and early in the morning, after you've shot all day, you've gotten a little lunch or whatever, and you're back out, well, then right before the sun sets, they try to find a safe place to pull the safari vehicle up to. Now, the safari vehicle only holds 6 people. Everybody's got a window seat. There's no bars or anything in front of you, and there's no guns in any dashboards either. So, but the lion is like right over there. So, I mean, but the thing is, they think that the safari vehicle is much a larger animal than they could really handle, so they just kind of leave us all alone. Now, we were told that don't make any fast movements, particularly if you're around a lion or something like that, because if a lion sees part of the massive thing change, he'll get a little bit alert. So we're all kind of sit, be calm, point your cameras to take the pictures. Anyway, long story short, we get to the end of the day. The guides try to find a reasonably safe area where we can park the Jeeps or the safari vehicles. We can get out, and we partake of some adult beverages and some refreshments and things like that, and it's kind of good. So
adult beverages and refreshments. Just say what it is. You're drinking hooch. You're out there slamming shooters, but you're drinking single malt scotch.
Now, no, we're not. We're not doing all that. But anyway,
they're slamming shooters.
The very first sundowner, we're all settled in, and then that's our first view from the first evening in Africa. So the guys are, I mean, that's the iconic elephant walking past the tree.
Wow.
And every sunset was just about as beautiful as that sunset, too. So that was quite the treat. Now, the guides are all saying, okay, guys, if he heads this way, get back in the Jeep because we're going to have to tear out of here. But anyway, he just kept walking through, and we're all on our stomachs taking pictures of the elephant walking by.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah,
What a
that's
nice
cool.
way to start your.
That was a nice way to start the safari. So anyway, and then the whole thing about it is, I thought it was funny too. We get there and we get off the bus, then we board the safari vehicle, so we can go ahead and get back to the lodge, and of course everybody sees an impala. Oh my gosh, we're seeing an impala, and Kevin says, "Oh my gosh." By the end of the week, you're going to be sick and tired of impalas. We were all sick and tired of the impalas by about day 5.
Yeah.
There's an impala. There's an impala.
Like waterfalls in Iceland. You're like, God. The first day you stop and shoot everyone. By day 3, right? Am I right,
Yeah,
Eric?
yeah, you're
day
done.
3, you're
You're
like,
done.
God, not another waterfall,
You just get
please.
numb to 'em.
You just
You
drive
do.
by them. There you
do.
go. Same.
But
I
the-
totally
but
get it.
Another cool thing is, yes, there's lots of impalas, and they're fun to photograph. They do this thing when they're happy called pronking, where they just kind of do this leaping across. And there's
Erik
nothing
does that.
chasing them, but they're just having like a good time. But, when you're on a safari, you think, okay, it's cool to see an impala. Oh, there's an elephant. There's an elephant charging a jeep because they were in must at the time. So we have to be careful and avoid the charging elephants, which was kind of an exciting thing, as a matter of fact. And then we're driving along, and then one of the guide spots, well, there's a leopard. Oh, he's dragging an impala with him. So we have the leopard and the impala dragging right by the side of the jeep, and of course we're all as discreetly as we can photographing.
You want to be discreet when there's death.
But
there's death and dismemberment.
But, the guy. I mean, the leopard just caught the thing. He doesn't want to take his teeth off of it because he releases it, something else is going to go grab it away from him. So he is not going to let go of the impala. So he followed it all through the bush and everything else. He eyeballs tree number 1. Doesn't work. Doesn't look too good. Tree number 2. We're thinking drag the impala up in the tree. We want to see what it looks like. Now I might be able to find that picture here if you don't mind. I'm not.
Yeah, we'll stall. We'll stall for you.
Go stall. Give me 2 seconds to
Yeah,
find
and
it.
speaking of, we got people tuning in all over the world. We're talking about world travel. We got people all over the world. So we got Gary from Central Illinois saying hello, which is far away from here.
Gary.
But then Camille is all the way from Poland.
Yay,
saying
Poland.
hi.
Wow.
So Peggy saying hi from Panama City Beach. Alex saying hi from Aberdeen.
Hey, Alec.
We got Pernell from Denmark. We got Susie from Columbus, Ohio.
I was
kinda near your part.
in Denmark.
Yeah. And then we got David from Sweden. Then we got Brigitte saying...
Brigitte.
Yeah, saying, hey, game, welcome back, Scott. And then we got hi from Darren from Brisbane.
It's Brisbane.
Brisbane.
It's not Brisbane. Oh, I was with 2 Aussies the last
Yes,
week, and they are from Brisbane. And if you say Brisbane, they would hit you with a taser.
Well, I'm from the South in America, so that's what we say. So we got Robert saying, "Oh boy, Scott's back in the house," and then Marianne and Lumford saying hi to the Rocket Man, and then Hugh is saying hi all from I don't know Basingstoke, UK, and then Brian Long from Hello from NYC. So I'm thinking that's
Hey, Gerbier brought up something interesting that I think deserves a song. Today happens to be, besides his story, David Ziser's birthday. So if you'll join us at home and on the set, which means you, Christina and Juan, in the booth, everyone sing. Here we go. Happy birthday to you, sing. Happy birthday, don't hum. Happy birthday, Senator Ziser. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my gosh, it's so warming to my heart. I can't
It is.
tell you how much. I can't tell you.
Warmth,
Thank
baby.
you,
in
everybody.
Spanish.
Thank you,
Feliz
everybody.
cumpleaños, no?
Then we do happy birthday on this your special day. Happy birthday. That's what we're here to say. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday to Applebee's to you. Hey,
I was wondering when the dessert was going to show up.
Wow.
it does. It shows up after the show, right after the show.
I see,
All right,
okay.
let's see the poor impala.
Well, here's the poor impala being drugged by the animal there.
You sure he just wasn't sleeping?
No, he wasn't sleeping.
He's not
no,
sleeping.
his eyes are open.
Oh.
And that's up. He finally got up in the tree. I thought I have another one. At Photoshop
Ooh.
World, I showed the one with he's up in the tree. So anyway, but kind of cool. Kind of
Yeah.
cool to see something like that up close and personal when you're
Yeah.
never seen it before. So anyway,
There you go.
All right, you've been doing some landscapes too. Can we see some landscape and travel stuff? It's
So
share your
probably
photos
should,
day.
We got to take a break, but then when we come back, we can switch over to landscape.
Okay, coming up next, we have David Ziser is going to be showing us some landscape shots. And Eric's going to be sharing some of his latest rocket work. I'll be showing some stuff from wherever I was. And we're going to read Robert James's comment as soon as we get back right here in the grid. Don't go away.
So if you've ever been out on location and wondering, where's the sun going to be? Where's the moon going to be? Where's the Milky Way going to intersect? This is where we can plan, and we can go in specifically and look at dates and exact locations and get you into the best scenario to get the shot you want. We're really going to dive into how to use a tool like PhotoPills to really design where that light's going to fall on your subject, how that light's going to be in the environment around you, and then getting into how to calculate in the right exposures for capturing star trails or capturing star points, getting into the nitty-gritty of everything you need to do to master how to harness the power of the sun and the moon and the Milky Way illuminating your scene. So join me, Erik Kuna, at Kelby1.com, where we teach you about PhotoPills and how to harness the power of light.
Hi, I'm Dave Williams. I'm a travel photographer, and that means I spend my time traveling the world taking photos, and I have to make money from it. Wouldn't you love to make money from your vacation photos too? Every photo in this magazine and every other magazine you see comes from somewhere, and there's no reason these photos can't come from you. It's every photographer's dream to make money from their photography, whether it's to buy a house or just to buy a new lens. I'm going to take you through it in this brand new class. I'm going to talk about Instagram influencing, about direct marketing, about microstock. I'm going to show you who to reach out to and how. And I'm going to show you what sells and why, and how to network the right way to get it done. I'll also show you the compositional techniques you need, the things you need to consider so that your photo sells, including the color and the tone that maybe you didn't consider before. So join me in my brand new class at Kelby One, How to Make Money from Your Vacation Photos.
When you need a tripod that is compact, that is portable enough to take with you anywhere, one that is adaptable to any situation, that will prove versatile enough for any shoot, and is compatible with your other gear, giving you freedom to create your own perspective. Look no further. Platypod Ultra does it all. Visit platypod.com for more info.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Hey, everybody. Scott Kelby here with Erik Kuna and our very special guest, Attorney General David Ziser. He keeps moving up the ladder here. Treasury Secretary Ziser. Hey, we got a comment here from Robert James who says, Erik, I love the class on PhotoPills. We just saw the trailer for it, and a lot of great comments in the
thanks,
Kelby One
Robert.
community. People wanting more. That is the most amazing app. It's $10.
It is the most
Though the price
amazing
changes every
app.
5 minutes. It's like a Tesla. You never know what it really costs.
When I bought it, it was $3.
Yeah, so the price changes. You never know. Look for sales. But anyway, it's $10. Isn't it weird where we used to spend $799 for Photoshop, and now someone says the app's $10? Are you kidding me?
No,
We're like,
I really would. I would, if someone asked me how much, I would spend $100 on that app. I would. That's how powerful it is, and how much it's helped my photography. I would pay $100, no problem.
yeah, it's like the best landscape thing
And it's
ever.
all for like lighting and sun and moon
It's
and the whole
basically
bit.
where the sun's position is, where the moon's position
What time-
is, where the Milky Way's position
Yeah.
is, how the shadows are
And
going to fall.
people in Florida pay $10 for that. I mean, the reason I'm asking is because my drive over here did nothing but rain the whole time. So
Yes.
I
It'll
mean,
tell you when the
does it
rain
tell you
starts,
what-
when it stops. It tells you when blue hour starts and stops.
It sounds great.
It has
I'm going to
everything.
download it myself.
It is seriously very good. What do you probably have an Android phone?
No,
You have an iPhone?
I do.
And a Windows
Well,
machine?
then you're good.
I don't
I do.
understand. I'm lost. Anyway, let's talk about landscape.
Speaking of landscapes,
Christina liked that one. It's not easy to get Christina to laugh. She's a very crusty, hard person, but she was no, she's not at all. Well, she's laughing today. If you can get Christina laughing, it's a good thing because crusty and hard. Hey, I do want to mention we have some giveaways. Before we go, we have some giveaways. One is David Ziser's iPhone.
How do we give that away?
We're also giving away my book, The Landscape Book.
Oh.
The freaking smash bestseller. This has been my best-selling book in like 5 years. Anyway, it is available now in wherever books are sold. It is not for advanced users. This is for people who are just getting into landscape photography. So if this is you, I hope you win this book. How do you win the book or the platypod we're going to give away? Oh, you mean the platypod you just saw in the ad? Yeah, that. The Platypod Ultra. We're giving one of those away today. They are awesome. I had this with me on my trip, used it numerous times. I have fabulous behind-the-scenes photos of me and my platypod shooting in places where tripods aren't allowed. Anyway, we'll be giving one of those away. How do you enter? All you have to do is leave a comment. Anything. You can just say, hi, how do you? Greetings from Sweden, or whatever you'd like to say. You're entered. Christina will go through when she's not being super grumpy. She'll go through and pick a winner for both of those, for the Platypod Ultra and the Landscape Book. Just go to, where do they go? They go to the webcast entry form? Wait a minute.
You can enter there too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but we've been picking them live.
we've been
lately.
picking them live. Picking them live.
Dark Request is going rogue in there.
Dark Request is going rogue. Dark Request is the former Instagram name of our director, Jason, who's in the booth. Now he's
The digital
the
surgeon.
digital surgeon on
Follow him
Instagram.
on Instagram.
Follow him
Digital
quickly.
surgeon.
You can't follow him enough. All right, Dr. Ziser.
There he is.
Oh, there he is, the digital surgeon.
Got to follow him on Instagram.
Follow him on Instagram. He's doing that black and white architectural stuff.
All right, so landscapes.
So
David.
landscapes. Let me just pick out one of the slides. I'm going to show Photoshop World coming up
Okay.
here next week, okay? And the reason I do is because, like, your book, you said, isn't for, like, super-duper expert landscape photographers. And my program at Photoshop World, the title is Photoshop Photography with David Ziser from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Ooh.
Subtitled, because I'm too darn lazy to wake up any earlier than that. And I usually have an adult beverage in my hand after 5 p.m.
Hey,
So-
after 5 p.m., he goes for a refreshment. Let's just call it refreshment.
Just a nice Chardonnay or something.
A nice
Straight up tequila
shard
shot.
of
So
refreshment.
it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek title and everything, but my whole point is that there's still great images to be made between 9 and 5. And I wanted to share these couple with you right here, because a lot of times people are, you're looking for the mountains, you're looking for the sunsets, the sunrises, and everything else, but there's so much you can do with landscape photography just by changing the perspective. We've been talking about that Neuschwanstein Castle that we all been mispronouncing the whole time.
Yeah, that one.
So this is from that area. This is from his father's castle down below.
Ludwig's castle.
Ludwig's.
Thank you. Didn't know another one, did you? Boom.
So
drops the mic.
So we take the one, and it's a beautiful area if you've been there. And then we take this little walkway up to the top, up to this. Actually, have you been on that suspension bridge that goes across?
Yes.
Okay. So we get up to the suspension bridge. Now, LaDon knows that I don't mind heights, but I don't want to be shaking up and down on the suspension bridge, so she proceeds to start jumping up and down. That's beside the point. But that's the photograph that we got from the suspension bridge. That's where that image came from. Came up pretty darn nice, I think. But now let's go back to the parking lot where everything kind of starts. And I want everybody to notice this mountain right here. You see it there? See that little bit of snow right there?
Yes.
Because here we are at this location. Now, let's just simply change the perspective on this location. We'll do it with focal length. We'll do it with elevation. And let's just see how the scene changes. That mountain is in every single one of these photographs. Let's go on to the next one. A little tighter. There's that same mountain right there. We got little fireflies, wherever they are in the air, or dust or whatever. Let's go a little bit higher. There's the mountain again as I'm walking up that pathway to get to Neuschwanstein. Now we're picking up some sun glistening off the water, that little lake that we saw, the big lake we saw a little bit earlier on. Now we're back down again. Now we're a tight telephoto shot. There's a piece of ice again that's on the mountain. And here we are one more time, and there's that mountain again right there too. So it's kind of interesting that just changing all those things, focal length, elevation, composition, I mean, I think they're all pretty nice photographs. So I think that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
And we'll get into a lot more of those kinds of details
All
during the
right.
program too.
I got to find a way to sneak into his class.
Yeah.
All righty. So, well, thank you, David. Thank you for sharing those. We're going to zip over here to Mr. Kuna, man, who
Well,
is...
yeah, 'cause perspective does change everything. And one thing I want
boy,
to talk
perspective
about
is
is
Powerful tool.
if you're in the Kelby One community, we actually have a member challenge going on right now that is about changing perspective, and it's about little things. So it's about getting down and doing macro shots, little detail shots. So if you're a Kelby One member, want to jump into the community and enter, all you got to do is take a picture of something tight and just post it in the community, and then we'll pick a winner right there in the community.
Sweet.
But do we want to take a break, because we're supposed to take a break right now?
Yeah, but it doesn't say take a break. If it doesn't say take a break, I don't take one. I mean, I just go and go and
when
go.
we get back, we can move on to the next section.
Let's see. She's
see.
going to write something. She's going to write something.
Yes. So
Is it break time?
it is break time. So maybe we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll go into the
Sure.
next section.
After this break, after this movement of the jib, we'll be back with some rocket stuff. Rocket stuff, burning up his fuse out here alone. Oh.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
Make sure you don't miss any episodes of The Grid by subscribing to Apple's podcast app or iTunes. It's free, and we even have a special audio-only version too. So sign up today.
Guess who? It's me. It's the real Rocket Man. It's Vice President Ziser. And
He's up to VP now.
he's up to VP, but he could fall right down to Secretary of Commerce at any time. We're with the Rocket Man. So we had a launch recently. What did we have?
So I recently shot a launch. I shot two launches. I shot one for it was a company ULA, which is another launch provider, and SpaceX. So SpaceX
Right.
and ULA. This is kind of a behind the scenes shot, just kind of give somebody context, because I think sometimes when I talk about this stuff, people are like, well, how does this even get done? How you even
Well, you
doing
look
this?
like you're pretty close there.
So this is my cameras right here. So you
Those
got two
two?
of my cameras right here. I got one with a little, you see that little no smoking sign I wrapped around my lens. It was 59 cents to make a longer lens hood so the rain wouldn't get on it.
Oh,
Because a lot
that's-
of the protection is just to protect it from the rain. And then you can see on the top of the cameras here, there's a little sound trigger. That's actually a Myop Smart is the name of the device. and it triggers the camera via sound waves. So basically, you set a threshold and you set it to go. So when that rocket goes off, it just starts firing the camera. So we set up our cameras the day beforehand. We put dew heaters on them. I've got dew heaters wrapped around the lenses up here. You can see the dew heaters. I got them below.
And you have to leave it there for unattended for a day.
For at least a day, sometimes 2. So basically, we're setting up our cameras, setting up our compositions, doing all that stuff.
And the triggers wake up the camera and everything?
The trigger wakes up the camera. Just think about, like, the camera's in standby. The trigger wakes up the camera and just starts firing whatever mode you're in.
Wow.
So you set up your camera, you set up your lenses, it's all manual.
Hey, dude, look how close
stuff.
those guys are in front of you.
Yeah, so and that's what, I'm at a telephoto here. This rocket throws out a bunch of solid rocket booster exhausts, which you'll see in a sec. So, and then here's another one. This is the other place I was shooting for the SpaceX launch, and this is on the top of the vehicle assembly building. So you got the rockets down here, and this one was cool because the rocket was landing. So I'll show you some of those shots. But just to give you context, kind of where these shots are happening.
So one's on top of the vehicle assembly building, and then you have remote cameras down close.
Yep. So here's some of the shots. So like there's from the ULA launch.
Ooh.
So you've got
Oh
the
my gosh.
5 solid rocket boosters and the 2 engines there going. Here's that's that camera angle that you actually saw with the no smoking sign. That was that camera angle right there.
And whoa, back it up.
Yep.
What camera is shooting this, and what lens?
That's a 70 Mark II with a 100 to 400.
And you're at 400?
I was at 2 something there.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't all the way in.
Hey, the next shot looks really intriguing after I told you to back up.
Yep.
Look at that.
So that's a 50 vertical a shot, and that's
a 50 millimeter?
50 millimeter.
50?
Yeah, that's a 50.
It's a 50.
So that's that shot. And then now this is when we do stuff at a distance. So the interesting thing about this launch that happened with ULA is it happened during twilight hour. And what happens is the rocket is so high up in the sky that the sunrise lights the rocket and the plume, and yet we're still in twilight. So we at the ground are in darkness, or the light hasn't hit us, but the rocket is so high that plume is being illuminated outside of the atmosphere, and you can actually see up at the top here, you can start seeing see the blue where it goes blue to white at the top of the plume there.
Yeah.
That's actually the difference between being hit with full sun and being hit with twilight sun. So you can see
that's
kind of
cool.
It's kind of
I'm going to interrupt for a second to get some questions here. Mm-hmm. Unless is this part of the same plume?
Yeah. Well, so this is a telephoto of that same plume going up in the sky. So you've got these. Then you got that. That's a telephoto shot of the plume up in the sky. You can actually see some right over here. You can see some of the solid rocket boosters kind of floating back. Those are what those lines are there to the left. And then there's another shot really in close of that telephoto. It's called twilight effect. So it's kind of doing a twilight thing. So just doing something different. There's distance shots where we're shooting from the causeway. Stuff like that. So that's that shoot. And then,
well, I got some questions coming in.
Yep.
John wants to know, Eric, even in standby mode, do you use an external battery?
No, I do not. I actually have battery grips on all my cameras, so I can double up on the batteries. You asked what camera, the 70 Mark II. I actually have a aftermarket. I think it's newer brand battery pack on there with 2 batteries that will last me on standby 3, 4, 5 days, mattering on how the weather cooperates. Because sometimes the weather will start triggering your cameras, lightning, thunder. That'll start triggering your cameras. So with no weather, I've had it go almost a week. With weather, it starts getting a little bit more.
Tom wants to know, once the sound triggers the release, do you set it to fire for X amount of seconds that you choose?
I have it set up so it is releasing in continuous. Either most cameras, I'll set it in a continuous mode, where I'll set the buffer to where it won't fill up the buffer before the rocket leaves the frame. So it is continuous, and no, as long as it's triggering with the sound. So as long as the sound level is above my threshold, it will trigger my camera. And I have it set up to just continuously trigger once it hits that threshold.
All right. Have you gotten so close you've gotten hit with stuff? No, you're far away, right?
I have got my cameras hit with debris, but
Right.
never damaged anything.
Okay.
Yes.
And Nina asks, are all your shots taken remotely? Oh, no, only half of them, right?
Yeah, so anything that you're seeing from the pad that's really close up, those are remote. Anything from a distance is me. That's where I'm like about 2 to 5 miles away.
And there was also a question, I think it was also from Nina, it went away, but I think it was, how do you get to the point where you're allowed to go on site like that? You have to be with a media company,
I'm
right?
just with I've worked my way up to working with credentialed media. Started that a couple years ago, working to where now we're getting the access to go on the VAB and stuff like that. Right. So
great. Let's see some more shots.
Cool.
So this is from the other
SpaceX.
shot?
So this is the other launch. So this is their Falcon 9 rocket. So this morning, very hazy, or this evening, it was very hazy and stuff like that, with all the liquid oxygen. So the liquid oxygen is so cold that it creates almost this fog effect, which actually looks very dramatic. It's kind of
that's cool.
And then there's the sound suppression system down here, which I intentionally framed in the shot because I knew the water would be spraying out from the sound suppression system. That would kind of mix in with the rocket exhaust and kind of make this kind of dramatic scene.
So we have a question from Andy here. He says, is the fire coming out of the rocket, is it hot? No, that wasn't really a question. I just made that up.
So here's that same launch again. So I was in tight on the bottom area here. And what was interesting about this shot is you can actually see there is a bird flying through on the right there. And that bird's having a pretty bad day, or will be having a pretty bad day. And the next shot, you can see he's over here, kind of flying away. So,
well, maybe he got away.
He might have got away.
Let's hope for the best.
Then this is like the stuff I was talking about from the top of the VAB. That's a long exposure shot.
And this is not a remote. This is you shooting it.
This is me shooting it. So that's a long exposure.
Do you have an ND on there? Do you have an ND filter?
I have 20 stops of ND on
20 stops of ND. Whoa.
Yes. So,
Joey.
And that was to get the exposure just to that 10-second point. So
wow.
That rocket is so bright that it exposed that whole time, that streak. But then I had to clamp down so far because this was during daylight.
Right.
So it was
interesting.
Pure daylight.
That's a cool shot, bro.
Yeah. Thanks. And then stuff like this where you're doing telephoto shots. That's from 3.5 miles away. Wow. You know. Now this is the landing. So one cool thing about the SpaceX rocket is it
comes
lands
back.
And lands
wow.
back. Like the booster comes back. So this is actually 7 miles away from where we were. And what's cool about this is that's where we used apps like Photo Pills and stuff to know the location and how the light's going to be. On
Photo
the
Pills,
rocket,
David. Photo Pills.
So you're framing it up before. So we knew a few of us knew exactly where to point our cameras. Everybody else was asking us, but there was a lot of people that didn't believe us. But then when it ended up landing, it turns out we were right.
How long's your lens, did you say?
That right there is shot with a 400 with a 2x teleconverter, so 800 millimeters.
800.
Erik, John is asking, can a normal person shoot the launch from some other vantage point?
Absolutely. I mean, so if you look at like these shots here, like this, there's people shooting at a public spot for these shots. Maybe this shot.
Yeah, they're right on the beach, right?
They're probably closer than I am. Like this shot, you could probably be closer than I am. It's just the initial shots when I'm doing those initial shots.
Yeah.
But a lot of times with those far away shots, that shot, that's where you need to be a little closer. But
whoa.
And then that's where you're setting up on the pad and you're getting that flame.
Yeah. So Andy wants to know, is that flame hot?
But honestly, really, when you get down to it, you can shoot those streak shots. You can shoot the faraway landing shots from great vantage points off the property. The other thing that NASA allows is they're like an air show where they'll allow it's kind of think of it like an air show. You can come to the air show. NASA allows, they sell tickets for this, but they allow public to buy tickets. There's actually a launch next week while we're at Photoshop World that they're selling tickets to, and you can go and be just miles away, and they don't restrict you from taking cameras or anything, so you can just take cameras like an air show.
You were probably trying to figure out how you were going to leave Photoshop World, go shoot that rocket, and then get back, weren't you?
No, absolutely
yes,
not.
you were, because you're right
I
there
would
in
not
Orlando.
miss Photoshop World.
No, you wouldn't miss it, but you're thinking, I could get the camera set up, and I could drive back.
Yeah, no,
Tell me you didn't think about it.
So the launch is scheduled for keynote day. I think that's almost impossible.
It's unfortunate.
Yes.
All right.
But
Coming up
anyways.
next, I'm going to show you some shots from not Belfast. Yes, Belfast. From Belfast, Northern Ireland, and from the Faroe Islands, and maybe Iceland. I don't know. It's all coming up right after this break. Don't go away.
Hi there, Kelby One members. Corey Barker here with Master Effects Training, and I'm very excited to announce that I'm going to be bringing some of my exclusive Master Effects Training content to the Kelby One library. I'm very excited about this because we are going to be exploring things like 3D effects, compositing effects, and other special effects, giving you an arsenal of creative techniques that you can utilize in your own work, taking it to the next level. So I hope you'll join me in checking out my newest projects here at kelby1.com.
Rick Salmon, Canon Explorer of Light, Kelby One instructor, author of 38 books. We're in Costa Rica on the Osa Peninsula that National Geographic called the most biologically intense place on the planet. So I've explored the East Coast and the West Coast here, but the West Coast, the Osa Peninsula, this is totally amazing. The jungle is so thick, the rainforest is so thick, there's so many animals around. Our base camp for this trip was Crocodile Bay Resort. You know, these guys are amazing. It's a first-class resort. Try to meet Bryce Johnson and Brian Johnson, two of the partners there. These guys are not only great photographers, they're great people. You can learn a lot from both of them. To our naturalist, Dennis Atencio Valverde. He's an amazing guy. He's also a great photographer. You're going to learn about exposure. You're going to learn about composition. But what I really like about doing this class was how we weave in the importance of the conservation efforts of everyone that we've met here. It's awesome. You know, two more highlights of the trip were going to these ecological centers. One was the Osa Interactive Gardens, where we got some great pictures of some butterflies, and the other one was Latarde, where we got some amazing, really close-up pictures of the poison dart frog. So please check out my latest class on Kelby One, Uncovering the Magic of the Rainforest. I'm Rick Salmon. I'll catch you later.
Hey guys, Christy from Shark Pixel here, and I am super thrilled to be bringing you a brand new class all about actions. So if you're a regular Photoshop user, you have a certain set of things that you do and apply to every single image that you work on. Well, if you do something more than 5 times, you need to have an action for it. So that's why this class is so important. It's going to teach you all of the skills that you need to know in order to let Photoshop do the work for you and working smarter and not harder. So in this class, we are going to get really advanced with the actions that we create. We're also going to start compounding actions where we literally layer multiple actions on top of one another. And then also we're going to be doing complete start to finish actions for skin retouching. So come check out my new class where we take actions to the next level, only on kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
Hey, we're back, Scott, with David Ziser, the Admiral Ziser, U.S. Navy, retired, and the Rocket Man. All right, Rocket Man, show one more shot. I'm going to run out of time to show anything, and David's got something.
Well,
He's got one on his
more.
screen that's pretty cool.
So this was a cool one because you could actually read
Boof.
the Cyrillic Russian on the engine.
Wow.
So that's the engine's made in Russia, and you can actually read that this says RD 180, but in Russian. So there you go.
That's close, dude. What camera and lens?
Well, it's 400. Yeah.
400. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few shots. They are from the first ones. So what it was is a friend invited me to go and join him on a cruise ship called the World. So it's owned. It's not a cruise line. It's a private yacht, 165 cabins owned by the owners. That's it right there. That's the World.
The World.
And so it is a super luxury boat. And he invited me and my brother as his guests. And so, and one of the reasons he invited me was because they were going to the Faroe Islands and he knew that was on my list of places I always wanted to go. And the boat was spectacular. It was incredible. The food was ridiculous. The service was, it's residences at sea. And it was just the service and the food and the ship. The ship looked like it was built yesterday. An amazing ship. All that aside, we got there, and I didn't want to miss the boat, so we got there a day early. So I said to my brother, bro, there's a place called the Dark Hedges that is like, I went and looked it up. It was about an hour outside of Belfast. So this is it right here. These are the Dark Hedges, and they were featured in the Game of Thrones. Now, I knew about them before Game of Thrones season 8. It was actually in 2 different seasons, but so there were Games of Thrones people kind of walking around, fans of the show and stuff. But we got there early enough that there was not many people there. And I'll show you a couple of different shots from it. But I do want to tell you something. That's not it. I do tell you something interesting. When we got there, my brother and I are standing there. We're the only people there. And then way down at the end, there was 2 Instagrammers. And we're standing there and we're going, this doesn't look anything like it. This looks like nothing like the pictures I've seen over the years. And that was because I was taking pictures with a wide angle lens, and it just doesn't look right. I'm like, this looks like nothing. It just looks like it looks like some nice trees on a road. What it needed was the long lens. So I went on Google and looked real quick, and I went, oh, that's what it is. I'm not in tight. I'm wide. I switched to a 7200, took the first shot, boom. It was all of a sudden, boof. There it was. Yeah. So anyway, that was the Dark Hedges. There's one shot there. That's kind of like it. This is looking that way. That's looking the other way. That's it. You just walk up there. It's closed. You're not supposed to drive through it unless you live on that road. And anyway, they used to do the Game of Thrones. So now, by the time we left, there were 15 people all milling around, and they're all taking selfies. So it's really a selfie spot now. So the other place that I wanted to go to is very famous. It's called the Giant's Causeway.
Oh, that's...
And it looks like these things were formed by man, but they are formed not by man, but by nature and stuff. And it's these tons and tons of these pillars. Now, unfortunately, we only had this literally just a few hours before we sailed. So basically, it was rent a car, drive out there, shoot these 2 places, and get back on the boat because they had to sail. And so that's what we did. And we went to these places, and that's what it looks like. Hard to believe that is formed by nature, Yeah. But here's what was bad. I didn't get the shot I wanted. The only chance that you have in hell of getting a decent shot there is to go literally at dawn.
Yes.
And here's why. Because I took a behind-the-scenes shot to show you what it really looks like. So take a look. Here's what it looks like when you're trying to shoot.
That's it.
There are 500 people climbing all over everything. What's interesting is how dangerous it is. There are kids on the top of this thing, and if they slipped and fell, they would die. I mean, there's kids, and they're bumping into each other. It's so crowded. This doesn't even give you, because I'm shooting this with a wide-angle lens, so everyone looks like they're further away than they really are. It's people on top of people. And there's no way in the U.S. they would ever let people go out on those things, because there would be a lawsuit every 5 minutes. What there were when you go out there are people with safety, like security guards with all kinds of first aid equipment, just walking around with first aid equipment because they know it's just minutes before somebody hurts themselves. So I didn't go venturing out too far. And so what I had to do was just like those shots I showed you were very isolated.
Yeah.
And if I went up 3 inches, you'd see 100 people.
Well, but that's a good tip when you are traveling to make sure that you do, if you're in those situations, other than like you said, wake up early, go out at dawn if you really want to get those tourists out of the shop.
I really wanted to get the Dark Hedges. This was kind of another one like, oh, guess what? It was only like 25 minutes from the Dark Hedges. So I was like, hey, we'll do them both.
But that's a way of getting that without.
But we pulled up and I'm like, oh, like you get out of the tour bus, there's a little bus, and you get out and you're like, oh no. All right, so I'll take you through a few more shots. This is my shot at the Faroe Islands. Now, I want to tell you about this. We're driving to the Faroe Islands, and there is a giant cloud and fog, and it's completely socked in, and you can't see anything. Nothing. It is completely obliterated. We get to this spot, which is the classic Faroe Island shot, and what makes this kind of unique is you don't usually see a waterfall spilling into the ocean like that. Mm-hmm. A waterfall usually spill into a creek or a river or something like that, but it's going right into the ocean. So we get to the spot and we find the parking place and we get out and we're standing in just complete fog. We are completely fogged in. We can't even see the trail to walk down to. So we said, should we get our gear out? We're like, I don't know. We said, well, let's just walk down there just in case. We get our gear, we start walking. We see a couple walking back. Can you see anything? kinda. You can kind of see where the waterfall is. We get out there. Listen to this. We get out there. My friend opens his tripod. He has a very expensive tripod, and the leg falls off.
Oh.
The leg falls off, and the pieces fall off. And as he's trying to pick up the pieces, and he's like really upset, but he had a platypod. So he pulled out his platypod, saved the day. But he's trying to put it all together. Literally, the fog clears, and there's the shot.
Boom.
We were standing in complete fog. Now you'll see. Here's a. I skipped ahead.
You can even see the fog.
Sorry.
Yeah,
you see a little of that fog.
Yeah.
Picture it to where you can't even see the waterfall. That's how thick it was. And then it just went away. My buddy was like, "No, don't give up." He goes, fog comes and goes. He was right. So there's a lesson in there.
There definitely is. I mean, there is that thing of sticking with it, and sometimes it'll just open up. Like, conditions can change within 20, 30 minutes.
Dude, it changed within 5 minutes. Yeah. It was like we're there, and he's trying to fix his tripod, and we look up, and we're like, oh! So this is another shot in the Faroe Islands. They took a shuttle bus into town, and I want to show you the behind-the-scenes shot because this is this nice, like, lighthouse on an island. Well, it was like, here's the... That's us getting off the shuttle bus. It was right there. So it's just basically how you compose it. So that was that. And this is the same one, just going up a little higher.
Yeah. Changing your perspective.
So it's kind of like what David was talking about changing your perspective. So see how those clouds are in there? So that's what it was like. But we were in that cloud. So it was kind of crazy. And this is just a really cool looking cloud. So anyway, but you'll see some more shots. See how the clouds are moving in there?
Yeah.
That's as we're driving, the clouds are moving in, and they're starting to obscure everything. It's like a foggy kind of thing. Look at this. So we come over this hill, and the clouds are pouring off of this thing. And now it's sunset. Now it's getting really late, and they are just pouring off it. So picture that, where you can't even see where the waterfall is.
Isn't this like really late at night though?
No, this is about 9:30.
Yeah.
Sunset was 10:08.
Okay.
So this is we're like almost to where we want to be. But look at the clouds.
Wow.
So I want you to
cool.
remember this mountain because you're going to see it in a minute. But it is socked in with clouds. This is the top of a mountain, 2,000 feet tall.
But look how cool that shot is.
It is. We're shooting and we're like, this is amazing. Like we're pulled off the side of the road. Everyone is. We're all pulled off the side of the road, setting up tripods and stuff. And then this is where the waterfall is. You could not see the waterfall, but we're up in it. Like we're all socked in. And look at this. It's just, and then all of a sudden it just went back out. It went back out. Look at that. That's a pano. That's like 4 or 5 shots.
So cool.
And so, and then it kind of cleared.
Wow.
And that's a 16 millimeter there. Or wait a minute, could be a pano. That could be 2 or 3 shots. That might be 3 shots. And then, it was just socked in. You know what? I can't decide which is my favorite. So maybe you guys can help me. So my choices would be this one. Well, let's go with the first one. Let's go back here. So we'll call this the very first one.
I think way back at
the beginning. All right. Where'd it go? This is shot A.
Okay.
All right. That's A. And then B would be that pano. Let me get to it. And I can't decide which one, because you can't keep showing the same shot from every different angle you've ever seen.
I think you passed it.
I did. Sorry. Kind of got ahead of myself. So that's B. And that's C. And I don't know. What do you guys think, David?
I like A the best.
You like A?
I'm solid A.
Yeah. Solid
Okay.
A.
All right.
Solid A.
Okay. So that helps, honestly. So just a couple more shots here. This is just driving in the car in the middle of the day. Just jumped out, and you've got those salmon farms going on there. And I just zoomed in with a tighter lens, right? And then the church with grass on the roof. This little town here. This shot right here. It looks like a drone took it.
It does.
It doesn't. I walked out to a fence, and I'm very scared of heights, and I was very uncomfortable. But there was a fence. I'm leaning on a fence post with wire, so you're not going to go flying over. But getting down to it was hair raising for me. The whole time I'm shooting, even with a fence in front of me, my knees are shaking because I'm very scared of heights. And but I wanted to shoot down in that gorge, and where I walked to, I couldn't get to it. and you can't see it, but to the right of those little fence posts is my buddy Kim and Donnie, and they're flying a drone. And this is one of the few places in all of the Faroe Islands that does not have a big sign that says no drone zone. Everywhere you go, no drones, but not here. They were like, bring your drones, baby. And this is the same place. All right, so you can't see, but you see the little town? And then there's a little house behind the town?
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And this is it from 2 angles. Yeah. There's another little house on the prairie. So this was some, I call this rocks. And this is the pano.
I love on the last one how there's those houses sitting up. There's that one house sitting up.
Yep, one house. And then pano. I'm not going to spend too much long because we're like running out of time. This is that same little church with the grass roof there. And we took a boat. This was a great thing that we did. We hired a boat, and I was afraid it was going to be super cold and super bumpy, but it wasn't. We went, that is the base of that waterfall. We went right out to it. Now, I'm on a moving boat, so you do an ND, no long exposure there. But this is on that boat tour. We actually got to see all kinds of neat islands and stuff that we'd never seen.
Yeah.
This is the mountain that was sticking out of those clouds.
Yeah.
And on the back side of it, it is sheared like someone took a knife and just sheared it off. So that was what was sticking, like 2,000 feet tall, sticking through the clouds. And we got to kind of go around. And these are all taken from a moving boat. So I had to get my shutter speed up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm having to shoot at like f4, f2.8, just to get, look at these big like rock formations. And these are all, we never would have seen these if we hadn't been on the boat tour. And it wasn't expensive. It was like $80 a piece. That's not really bad when you think about it. That's that same island. And
but that's a classic Faroe Island stuff that you see. It's just that otherworldly sticking out of the ocean.
And dude, that thing's huge. Our boat went through that little hole in there. He took it right through there.
Wow.
And this was like the boat doesn't fit in the. That is we're coming into the dock. Oops. So here's the ship. This is the boat that we were on the world. And look how close we are. Like I shot shots of that, like you're going to see here. That's taken from the deck of the ship. It's right there. That's a pano.
I love that.
Handheld, taken right there in middle of the day. I'm not a middle of the day guy, but you know, little house up there. We were trying to figure out how the hell do they get down, like, and that's it. That's just the regular, not a pano, but just the regular shot, literally taken from the deck of the boat. And then this is just some other place. That's my one shot of a puffin, not good. And this is a waterfall, or where they filmed the wall scenes from Game of Thrones. And this is looking to the left of it. And this was the stupid classic Reykjavik shot that everybody gets. And that's me and Kim. That's my buddy Kim. And that's us on that boat getting that shot of that waterfall. So that's the two of us. And such a great time. He's a great guy and awfully gracious to invite me on that boat, and my brother. And he's a very good photographer. He is a freaking good photographer. And he had shots from all over the world. He's been everywhere because that boat just goes around the world the whole time. And so anyway, just wanted to share that shot. So thank you to Kim for being incredibly gracious and fun and great photographer. And we did post stuff. We'd sit up at night, work on our photos. Nice. It was so much fun. All right. Well, we got some winners. I'm going to jump back to David here for a second. So we got winners for the Platypod. Congratulations to David Bransma. David, you just won a Platypod Ultra. You will love it. You will live it. And it is what saved Kim when his tripod broke. He's like, it's okay, I got a Platypod. And then I had mine with me the whole time. And then the winner of the landscape book, and I'll just show another picture of it just in case you want to go to Amazon and buy one right now. You know, it's cheap. It's like, what is it on Amazon? Like $15 cheap. Or something. Yeah. It's cheap. Eric's going to go find out, but the book is worth $1,200. I think that's the value on the back. Yeah, it's $1,200 per copy. But Amazon sells it for, I think it's like 20, like less than 20.
Added up the value of the information.
But great. It's getting great reviews, and it's selling like insanity. It is one of my best-selling books in years, and it is, how much is it? Less than $20.
Oh, landscape.
Yeah, the landscape book, not landscaping your house. You know, it's so hard to find good.
$20.
It is $20 right on it. So there it is. Go get your copy right now. It lists for $30. Amazon has it for $20.
And right below it is the Encyclopedia of Landscape Design.
There it is.
Yeah.
Get
did
both
we?
of them.
In case you're
All
into
right.
that.
All right. So, David, you were going to wrap up with your top 5 safari adventure tips if I'm able to read your screen.
That's the whole program is that. But anyway, I thought what I'd do is just take my part out just with a couple wildlife images, and then we're going on safari next April 1st to the 11th, whatever. And I'd like to just talk about that for the last 30 seconds, and I'm good to go.
So you have a workshop coming up, a safari workshop?
Yes, will be our 5th safari workshop.
Wow. Where at?
It's going to be in South Africa.
Just South Africa, Jerry? That's a big area.
Hang on a second.
Is it like?
It's going to be in Mandikwe. It's a beautiful lodge.
Ooh, that is nice.
It's a way nice lodge. Oh, there I am.
There's a very nice man.
We visit the Lasita Cultural Center where they bring in all the 11 tribes of Africa. We get to meet those guys, and it's kind of really cool. Stay there for the night. It's kind of nice to stay there, too. And where's our date? So we arrive April 1st, or depart USA April 1st. You lose a day, 19 hours from Cincinnati to get there. And then safari camp, the whole thing. So and it's absolutely amazing to go over there.
And when people show up, he's going to be like, April Fools.
No.
No.
And the other cool thing is it's, a lot of safaris you go to, you hear about, they're like 10, 12, 15,000. This safari is like
15,000 is pretty average for a.
Well, this is about a third of that.
Oh, good.
A little bit less than that for 9 days.
For 9 days.
Yeah.
That's great.
So this is from the very first one we did last year in February. And these are just a couple of my favorite images from my very first time of ever shooting safari wildlife. Ladon knows the name of all the animals and everything.
That's an elephant.
Yes, and a cat, whatever. You were so close to these animals, they're literally 20, 30 feet away from you. You don't need telephoto lenses for some of these things, although that's another thing. The most arrogant-looking animal in the world.
Is that a wildebeest?
That's a Cape buffalo.
Oh, buffalo.
And then we were following the cheetah brothers.
Two-headed cheetah.
And you were talking about the fog clearing on your one photograph of the Faroe Islands. Well, we were chasing the cheetah brothers, and we did get some sunset after the rain. The rhinos. That was again one of our first day photographs.
Wow.
Obviously,
it's amazing to see
hippos.
those in person, isn't it?
Yes, it really is.
Sleeping impala.
But the last one that popped up on the screen.
I like that one.
Just like you, it's raining. We're driving through the rain for like 3 hours. First safari vehicle goes by, didn't see anything. We come by about 8, 9, 10 minutes later, and the cheetah brothers are just sitting there posing for us. So everybody's making U-turns coming back. We end up photographing the cheetah brothers for like an hour or so, just getting wonderful, wonderful images the whole time.
I like the cheetah brothers a lot. That's my favorite shot there.
Great shoot. Great. That's probably my favorite shot from the whole time we were there.
Well, thank you for sharing those, David. Thank you for being here with us. All right, where can they go to learn more about your workshop?
The easiest way is to go to I Do Be Weddings. That's IDUBE. Well, I Do Be Weddings. It's IDUBE Safaris. Go there. If you Google Ziser and I Do Be, you'll get some information and you can find it.
All right,
and
we're going to put that up on screen. Hang on.
Okay, and the other thing is
because even I'm lost on that address.
I know it. Or just email me, david@ziser.com, and I'm happy to give you some more information. I'm happy to visit with you on the phone. If you leave your phone number, I'll give you a call back if you're interested in more information.
All right, so it's the letter I.
IDUBE. Photo Safaris.
Photo. SAFAR. No?
It's just, if they Google it, it'll come up.
Well, I'm going to find a different font here that'll make it a little bit easier to read. Don't move, don't breathe. How about Helvetica? No one doesn't like that. Is this correct, Dave?
It's right here. IDUBePhotoSafaris.com.
IDUBePhotoSafaris.com.
You got it.
.com. All right.
Yeah.
All right, we got it on screen here. It's not too bad. Here we go. Let me resize it, refiguratate it. Oh, it's a little too long, of course.
But we've got 6 spaces left for the safari. We sold out the first one again, so we set up the other one. So there's 6 spots left. Beautiful in that beautiful lodge. So anyway, give me an email, david@ziser.com. I'm happy to give you as much information as I can about it and share some more things.
That's great that it's just 6 people. That's really nice. And you've
2 in a room. But
2 in a room?
Yeah. There's a grand total. I think we've got 3 or 4 already sold. So it was 18 people last time.
Do you pair up people like trying to like play matchmaker? Well, you guys look like you might be attracted to each other. Put you two together. See what happens.
Is there adult beverages every night?
Yeah, there are refreshments.
Yes, there are.
Are there refreshments? Because
yes, there are refreshments.
Refreshments seem like a very important part of your safari.
It is. It creates the inspiration for the photographs.
All right.
That we take.
So and give me a percentage, and just, you can be honest. What is the percentage of wildlife time to beverage time? Is it mostly beverage time?
It's very little beverage time.
It's like most 90% beverage. It's focused on adult beverages, and then
it's maybe an hour of beverage, and
then
it's probably
when you sober
15
up,
hours of safari.
When you sober up, you finally go take some pictures, and they're basically right there at the camp. You don't even have to leave the camp because you don't want to get too far from the bar. No, I'm totally kidding, of course. Well, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. It really does.
It's a great one.
So it's hunting safaris under the African with IDUBE. Now, when they're hunting safaris, you're not like shooting animals.
No. Only with cameras.
Okay, good. Yeah, hunting with cameras is good.
He's on a different site, isn't he?
Was he on a different site?
Might be a different site.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a site.
You want a IDUBE photo safari.
Photo safaris,
That's
yeah.
If you want a IDUBE safaris, you're going to be doing some...
No, we don't want to kill animals. No. We want to photograph them.
See, yeah, I just can't get into the shots of the...
I can't shoot anything living except for maybe one if we're out like in Costa Rica and it's really hot. And I'm like, where's my gun? Where's my gun? I'm shooting one. All right. Christina, thank you very much for your showing such moderation today. Juan, you were fantastic as always. Jason, Dark Request. By the way, don't forget to follow Juan on Instagram.
_Juan Alfonso.
No, is it underscore first? There it is, _Juan Alfonso. And that is, he shows behind the scenes shots and all kinds of crazy stuff.
His
Juan's quite a good
Instagram is
photographer.
not dark or a request.
And look, he's got a happy, look at his happy thumbs up, kind of.
That's Juan.
That's Juan right there.
If you
That's the real Juan.
If you could see him, what he just did.
He just gave us the big thumbs up. Yeah. Look at that.
And
hey, look at that. Look at his wildlife pictures. David, look at that.
That's great.
Look at that. Juan's getting it done.
Yeah.
What were you shooting, Juan? What lens? It's a toucan, man.
Toucan Sam.
100 to 400?
Yes.
Dude, you're on that toucan.
I like that 100 to 400.
Look at that. Look how close.
Me too.
That's like some kind of animal. It's a manimal. Remember that show, Manimal? Anybody remember that? Manimal? No. It was a show. I'm not making this up. Anyway, thank you all. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to Congressman Ziser for joining us. You can see David and meet him in person next week at Photoshop World. Remember, it's not too late to come and join us. It will be a blast. Go to photoshopworld.com for travel info, details, but just stay at the Mirage.
And there's a blog post coming up.
Blog post next weekend, next Wednesday from David Ziser, is my guest blogger next Wednesday. So make sure you go see that. And he shares some great photos and some great stories because he's a great American. Well, everyone, the jib means it's time to say goodbye. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks to Jason and Ron and our sponsors and David E. Ziser. It's not E, is it?
No, it's A.
David A. Ziser. Yeah. You're a Ziser?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
You can guess what
that's
the A
good.
stands for, but that's...
Alvin? Is it Alvin?
No.
Like the chipmunk?
Okay,
Yeah, it is. You know it is.
It's not.
It'll
be
just
awesome.
How high is
maybe.
our roof, for God's sakes?
Yeah,
How high is it?
Keep on going.
That's crazy.
I think one can go more.
I think one could go.
No, there
That's
we go.
as far as you go.
That's
Don't
as
go.
far as you go.
Out, then you're outside the building. See you guys next time.
Thanks, everybody.